Content disclaimer. Views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed.
Okay, I hope everything is well. How you feeling in the mathematical universe with your brother King Simon? How are you? 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 It is now 10:10, now 10:11. Uh-huh. How you feeling? How you feeling? Your brother King Simon, hope everything is well. Hope all the spell correction is good. Everything is spelled correctly on the line here. Remember, please like, subscribe, and share. It helps to build the algorithms on this particular program. And the numbers are going up. I want to thank everybody that has been sharing. The numbers has been going up. I do get an analytics from YouTube every month. So the numbers have been going up, and I am proud of you, the audience that have been sharing and caring. And the numbers have been going up in donations too. So please like, subscribe, share, circulate, and donate to the channel. It helps to keep things going, helps to keep the vibes going, helps to keep us circulating things together. If you can't buy a book and you can only circulate a certain amount of funds through your PayPal or Cash App or even Super Chat, thank you very much, and I want to thank each and every one of you, and welcome to King Simon Presents the Numerovational Perspective. This is not a call-in show. Only Tuesdays I like to do the call-in show. So Tuesday we will be doing the call-in show where people can call in, donate, then call in. But this can be a donation-driven show, just in case you want to make decisions and you want to find out what the miracles lies within us, because everyone, I always say that every one of us are miracles. We're broadcasting on IG, we're broadcasting on Facebook, we're broadcasting on Twitter, and also we're broadcasting on our YouTube channels. That's King Simon Presents, Only Quality People, and we are also broadcasting on the Numerovational Nation, the Numerovation Nation on YouTube also. So please subscribe to both of those channels, not just this one, not just King Simon Presents, but if you can, share the Numerovation Nation channels also. And of course, today's topic is make a decision and numerovational miracles will happen. So I'm going to break down the two focus words that I want to break down is decision and miracles. Very important words in this statement. Make a decision and numerovational miracles will happen. I want to make sure I'm clear. This is not a call-in show. This is not a research show. And I will on Tuesday, of course, talk about some metaphysical news that's out there. I always start off on Tuesday with a metaphysical news bulletin to let people know what's going on in the metaphysics world, whether it's from a European perspective, whether it's from India, whether it's from an AI perspective, and how AI is also going to be used a lot in the metaphysical world. But as you can see, I've already written down the mathematical breakdown of decision and miracles. You'll find that there's master number 11 in certain frequencies. You'll see 42, 6. You'll see 34. You'll see 19. We're going to get into all of that. Just want to check on the audience and see how y'all doing out there. Hey. I see people are lining up not only on IG. What's up, IG? If you could hear me clearly on IG, YouTube, and Facebook, please put the number 1 in the chat. Put the number 1 in the chat if you could hear me clearly on all the apparatus. Of course, I see people coming up. What up? Okay. Thank you very much. I see y'all coming up live and direct. All right. Instagram is coming up live and direct also. Yes. Greetings to all of you. And of course, there it is. Okay, I see y'all up there. Thank y'all very much for coming in. I'm showing your names on the screen. Instagram, I cannot show your name on the screen only because you are on Instagram, unless I upload that portion of it. But I'm not going to do all of that. If you want to come over to YouTube, yes, please, by all means. Please, all means, come on over to YouTube. People got the ones in the chat. Yeah, y'all know that's one of my favorite numbers. That's one of my primary numbers in numerology, that number 1, because I'm born February the 1st. Yes, because I'm born on February the 1st. Number 1 is one of my primary numbers. And of course, let me see. Everybody is hitting me up. That's good. Beautiful. Also, thank you very much. Keep seeing. That's good. Keep on seeing it. It's a beautiful number. So, first and foremost, let everybody know that on Instagram and on YouTube, please go to my Patreon page. This is very important. Why? Because like I stated on the last broadcast when I had Moncho and Washa yesterday, they are going through videos on everybody's channels. I'm not excluded from that. And they're looking for any medical, so-called miseducation on medical stuff. And And they also include in metaphysics, because I noticed they took down my Dr. Delbert Blair part 1, that when he spoke at Clara Muhammad. They've taken down a few Phil Valentines, I think 2 Phil Valentines. They've taken down Dr. Blair. They've taken down Curtis Koss. So go to my big part of my Patreon page, because that's where I'm going to put all the exclusive bonus content. That's the Patreon that you see on the screen right now. That's the Patreon. That's patreon.com/King Simon Productions. And the monthly rate is $5.55 to $10. That's it. That's the monthly rate, from $5.55 to $10. I don't want to go any higher. I'm going to keep it at that price. Donation on Patreon. And I had to take off my Dr. Fabi's wife and actually put her on exclusively through one of the broadcasts that I did. I think I took off Iris Latham off of there because I don't want them to remove that Iris Latham video, and because I did not download the recording of that time, it's probably gonna get erased. So I had to privatize a lot of that. Also, the womb. I just put up the womb and the womb and penis detox by Dr. Alicia. Dr. Alicia exclusive. The womb and penis detox, where she talks about the herbs and the foods and the healing, how to heal the penis and the womb, the vaginal area of the woman, and of course the penis of the man. So everything now is going on Patreon, where people can support and show love on a monthly basis. I'm going to put up new content, bonus content up there. I'm putting up Runoko Rashidi up there because that was an event it was a paid event, but I'm putting up the part 1, part 2, and part 3 of Runoko Rashidi, the late Runoko Rashidi, that we did on 11/11/2011. And Blue Pill and Red Pill were the ones that opened up with their premiere of their video. Kambata performed. So I'm putting up one. I'm only putting up Red Pill, Blue Pill, Runoko Rashidi part 1, 2, and 3, not the Kambata performance. So the Kambata performance will be on YouTube on my regular page, King Simon Presents. But it's very important that, as you can see, I have to make a decision. And when you notice certain things are happening in the algorithms of YouTube, then all of us have to see. That's why, and big up to Red and Blue, they got their page snatched from them. But you got to make conscious decisions. And once you make conscious decisions, that's when the miracles will happen. That's when things start becoming revealed. So now, because we as a conscientious community, I do not call myself a part of the conscious community in that respect of what is out there now. Conscious, anything that is conscious of their surroundings is part of a conscious community. Like I said on Sonetta's show recently, a rat, mouse, a cockroach is conscious of their surroundings. That's why cockroaches stop when they feel your energy. Although they're blind, they can feel with their antennas. So they're conscious of their surroundings, and that's why they'll run and scurry. Spiders are conscious. So I'm very careful about using the word conscious community right now because of what's going on and all the madness. So conscientious means someone that is willing to do right and do it thoroughly. And I'm willing to do right and do it thoroughly and do the research. And if you do want to see that recent interview I did on Cam Up with Sonetta TV, I haven't been on Sonetta to break down numbers in a long time. That was one of the catalysts of my numerology career, was Sonetta TV, alongside Brother Rich and various other places. But those two platforms was the catalyst for King Simon and his Numerovation, because at that time I was still developing the name Numerovation. But we're going to get into it, so be patient. I'm going to get into the word decision and miracles, and why today's topic is make a decision and numerovational miracles will happen. Now, I've broken down the word miracles before, and I've broken down the word decision before, as far as the numerical value behind all of these things and how it can help guide each and every one of you out there if you use it appropriately. So, and it's very important that all of you start to recognize that when you do make major decisions in your life, you find that certain things happen And the only reason I put numerovational miracles is because everything that you have done throughout the time you was born and came out of your mama's womb, from the time you was conceived, at that point of conception, when the mom and dad's sperm and ovum came together, there was a mathematical or numerical timing happening at that moment of time. Even if your mother or father didn't even pay attention, they was just having sex, they was enjoying it. They may have done it at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you got conceived. There was a mathematical thing happening, a numerovational thing, a numerical thing happening. If you understand what I'm saying, please put the number 1 in the chat. Put the number 1 in the chat if you understand what I'm saying when I say what I say. Because we can have sex at any time, any pattern, any cycle, any sequence. We can have sex during winter, fall, summer, spring, but there is a numerovational pattern that happens. At that point of conception, there's a particular time period or a cycle or pattern that's happening. From the time you came out of your mother's womb, from the time you ejaculated from your father's scrotum, from the time your mother ovulated. You notice I keep on saying time, 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 time. Time is not an illusion. Time is an element. Linear time, as created by the construct of the society, can be considered an illusion because they're adding the 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. But because everyone is now a part and parcel of this time that they've added, so we can recognize when to go to work and when to go to sleep and what time it is and what the and when you want to go to the club and with all that kind of stuff. That's why now time has become, that linear time has become relevant, but element of time has always been there. Big up to Dr. Phil Valentine that explains that on a whole nother level at his university. Make sure y'all go to uksnow.org and check out Dr. Valentine. And remember, Dr. Valentine will be on this platform, but through a private link to YouTube, and I will exclusively broadcast it on my Patreon channel because I want him to free up. I want him to talk. I want him to talk that fast. That's what I want him to talk. So remember, Dr. Valentine will be on with me on December the 17th, but on a private link. Private link. I'm not joking with these algorithms no more. Forget all that. I know how to navigate. I know how to navigate. So on a private link to the YouTube, and there's only 2 YouTube channels that's going to provide the private link. Three channels. It's going to be Numerovation. The Numerovation Nation is going to be King Simon Presents. I'm not broadcasting on Facebook. It's not going to be on IG. It's not going to be on Twitter. It's going on only 2 private links. Those are private, unlisted links, but it will broadcast through my Patreon page just to save face also. And origin of the deep state. That's what we want to go. I want to find the origin. And you cannot let Phil talk without getting your channel snatched down when you start talking deeply about the deep state. So I'm going to have him for at least an hour and a half or 2 hours. And you're going to make donations to me and him that night. We're going live and direct. And when I say blood clot, live and direct, me mean live and direct when it comes to Phil Valentine. We're not playing no game with that blood clot. All right? So you tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell your cousins that Dr. Phil is going to bring all the heat privately. He's going to bring all the heat privately. All right? So that's how I'm going to do it for Dr. Phil Valentine on that particular day. Excuse me. Man, Brother Richard's talking about this lingering cough that we've been developing. We've been developing a lingering cough, and him and I live in Stone Mountain. So I don't know if it's happening in the mountains. I know I have to go, but when I go out there in the mountains, I have to take a deep breath. I have to get that. I stay in the midst of the trees and I just start breathing. He was talking about this lingering cough he had, and I've developed a lingering cough also. So in the last few since December 1st, actually, and I know that I'm in my 4 personal month. So I'd have to look up Richard's birthday. He born on the 17th. You got to remember the 17th, which equals an 8. That is a health number. And back in the day when Rich was eating a lot of cheese and bread, he developed a mucus thing in his lungs. And one thing about when you're dealing with that number 8 as a health frequency, you have to be very careful of certain things, certain health issues if you're not careful, especially with your diet, because the 8 rules the bones, teeth, but it also and bones, teeth, and knees, but it also rules your intestinal tract, your digestive tract, and all that kind of stuff. That's why if you look at the digestive tract, it looks like an infinity symbol, all of the curves and everything. You could get a bunch of 8s out of that. But it's that. So Brother Rich had to develop, had to leave cheese alone. He used to love cheese. And Rich will tell you, Rich will tell you that. So, that's why on the food thing that he did with KT, he asked about vegan cheese. Go figure that one out. So big up to my brother Rich all the time. I love Brother Rich. That's my brother. All right, so let's get into the subject matter. And again, please donate to the channel. Don't just circulate. Circulate to the channel. Show your brother some love. Your brother King Simon is here. You see the PayPal, you see the Cash App, whatever you can donate, beautiful. I like to keep it above $5 and up, not just $1.99 and all that kind of stuff that people be doing. But whatever you can donate. If you're doing super chat, you can do super chat also. And remember, this is our business. This is our life. This is part of the livelihood. This is one of the streams of income. So support all of the content creators that are doing something that's maintaining the positive. You notice that I don't bring the drama up here, and I maintain what I stand by. King Simon presents only quality people. That's it. And the Numerovational Nation. So the Numerovation Nation. So I try to stick to that premise because it works for me. That's it. It works for me. And whatever works for you, go with it. Whatever doesn't work, leave it the F alone. Leave it the shuck alone. Shuck. I got that word shuck from Reverend Ike. Leave it the shuck alone. I won't say F-U-C-K, but I can say shuck. S-H-U-C-K. H-A-S-A. So leave it the shuck alone. Leave it the shuck alone. Big up to Shucky Ducky Quack Quack. All right. Former back in the day comedian. I seen before. All right, so let's get into the subject matter. All right, very important matter. And I want everybody and every one of you to realize that there's a good book that I will recommend to anybody. And here it is. And if you are, and that's why the topic is make a decision and numerovational miracles will happen. This book here, if you're watching on IG, is called The Power of Decision. This was one of the major books that the late, great Reverend Ike recommended years ago. The Power of Decision. A step-by-step program to overcome indecision and live without failure forever. That's a big claim. Now, this book was written by Raymond Charles Barker. Reverend Ike recommended him years ago. I remember listening to an old broadcast of Reverend Ike, The Power of Decision. And this book was written in, this book was originally written in 1968. Old book. 1968, then of course it was revised in 1988, and the last revision of it was 2011. All right, so big up to the late great Raymond Charles Barker, born August the 31st. Born August the 31st. I even write their birthdays down in my book sometimes. But he says, you are intelligent, capable of knowing the right ideals at the right time to make the right decisions. That's one of his quotes in the book. He says, you are intelligent. You are intelligence. This is from him. Capable of knowing the right ideal at the right time to make the right decision. Then he says, intelligence created you and sets you free on the path of self-discovery and self-decision. That's another quote by him. He says, intelligence created you and set you free on a path of self-discovery and self-decision. Can I get an amen in the chat or an A woman? Matter of fact, put both of them to keep the balance. Put an amen and an A woman in the chat. This was two powerful statements said just in the preamble of the book, the introduction of the book. He's saying something powerful. You are intelligence, capable of knowing the right ideal at the right time to make the right decision. And then he goes on to say, intelligence created you and set you free on a path of self-discovery and self-decision. Very good book to have in your arsenal or in your collection, The Power of Decision. Amen and a woman to that. Amen and a woman to that. Powerful statement made by a very powerful person that was highly regarded by the late, great Reverend Ike, who wrote the book called The Science of Living. Very good book to have. Also, I like to show books. I'm part of that era with Bobby Hemmett, Panic, and all of them. Dalbert Blair, show them books. If it's going to help you become better, I'm going to show the book. Period. If it's going to help you to become better, I want to show the books. I hope y'all don't have a problem with that. So, in the study of numbers, the word decision in the Pythagorean system adds up to the number 42, which is a 6. 4, 2, and 6, as you all know, if you followed me, are all different aspects of balance, all different aspects of health, all different aspects of healing, depending on what you want to heal in yourself. Now, I want to go to an author. This book here, this one is called The Numerology Handbook by Tanya Gabriel. And she says something about the 42 that was very key. We know Jackie Robinson held that number 42, and Jackie Robinson was born January 31st. Oh, you see, I tap into those numbers. So she says something very key that I want to explain from my perspective about the number 42 in the Pythagorean system, because that is the system that she used, because that is the most popular system in this realm. I mean, in the European or the Western world, Pythagorean is the poster who got it from the ancient melanated people of antiquity. Okay. Now she says something about the 42. She says, 42, deepest intentions is to love and to be loved. 42 is a number of appreciation and compassion. Now, she's pertaining it, she's speaking, from her perspective, she's speaking it from about a person that holds the number 42. So the people or the person that holds the number 42, whether it adds your name or your birthday or your year or adds up to a number 42, she speaks it like this. She says, your deepest intentions is to love and to be loved. People appreciate you and the compassion you share, and they are willing to go the distance to keep you close. Your home must feel beautiful and exude warmth. You need an outlet for your creativity, which may be inspired vision. You are charming, charismatic, and generous. That is from her perspective, speaking about humans that holds the number 42. Now, from the perspective of compound numerology, this is the old Kiro from the 1800s, and he wrote about the number 42 from his perspective. He says 42 has the same meaning as 24. I seem to differ with that prospect and that ideal, but let's go into it. He says 24. He said the number 24, which is connected to 42, that's backwards. This number is also fortunate It promises assistance and association with those of ranks of position of one's plans. It also denotes gain through love and the opposite sex. It is a favorable number when it comes out in relation to future events. So 42, which according to Chiro is the same meaning holds as 24 in his book. He says this particular number is a fortunate number, but it promises assistance in association with those in rank. So in order for you to make good decisions, and so it could be favorable, and because from my perspective, the 4 deals with discipline and order and structure and the willingness to communicate clearly. That means you have to learn to communicate your decisions and your decision making very clearly. And then the number 2 deals with compassion and insight. From my perspective, as although he says this is a fortunate number that promises of assistance. So when you make good decisions, it promises good. It promises good fortune. It promises assistance if you're making good decisions. Am I making sense to the trap? I want to make sure I'm making sense, because I'm mixing and blending what I got from them and what I see from myself, because again, he doesn't, Kiro looks at 42 as a number 24 with the same meaning. I differ from that, because when you have a lead number before the second number, that lead number is really the strength of that number 42. 24, the number 2, is the strength of the number 24. But since he is the elder statesman of that time who did wonderful work with Queen Victoria and other dukes, and he was an advisor, I'm going to entertain what he said from his perspective, from his point of view, from his time period, because it is relevant today, since he acknowledges in his own book that the number 42 has the same meaning as the number 24. That's what he says. However, from a numerovational perspective, since your brother is the numerovator, I have to look at the lead number as the leading consequence or the leading story in that number 42 or 42. So those that are watching on Instagram, if you want to get the pureness of it, you can come to YouTube and see it for yourself. So I want to go to another book that speaks about a particular number. I don't think she does that in this book, because this is another older numerologist that goes in from their perspective. No, she doesn't go down that road. So that is null and void at this time. But 4 + 2 = 6. And in my book, Numerovation for Mental Stability, the number 6 is what I call the feminine number with a feminine flow line. And when you go to my book about the number 6 of what I wrote back in the day, and again, I like to show books because it's very significant. I wrote this book in 2020, and it says the number 6 is a symbol of divine balance. So making a decision adds up to a number 6, which is the symbol of divine balance of nature and all its beauty. Let me stop there. If you make a right decision, or you are operating on your highest and wisest example of the decision that you made, it is divine balance in nature. It is a beautiful thing when you make good decisions. When it comes to relationship, when it comes to jobs, when it comes to business move, it's a beautiful balanced thing because the number 6 is the number of balance, just like the number 4 is another aspect of balance. The number 2 is another aspect of balance. And the number 8 is also another aspect of balance because all even numbers deal with the balance. The topic again today, family. The topic again is make a decision and numerovational miracles will happen. Make a decision and numerovational miracles will happen. So, in my book, I go on to say the number 6 vibration urges every living thing in existence to find peaceful balance within it. Known in many studies as the symbol of generation, it has been expressed in ancient time as a symbol of man, the 6-pointed star, 2 triangles superimposed with one pointing towards the heavens and the other pointing towards the earth, representing the higher and lower nature of humans. As above, so below. So the number 6 represents the 2 imposing triangle. One, the 6-pointed star, one pointed up, one pointed down, representing the high and low and representing as above, so below. The number 6 energy, as I go on to say, in tarot, the number 6 is called the Lover card. And it represents choices between 2 loves, the consciousness and the unconscious mind. So dealing with making decisions deals with the conscious and the unconscious mind, the inner part of you and the external part of you. That's what 6, because 6 represents the balance of the 2, the high and the low, as above, so below. So even when you're making a good decision, that's what it's reflective of also. Now, in the Chaldean system, which I've told y'all many times, that is the oldest of the system. Way before, thousands of years before, about 1,000 or more years before Pythagoras. In the Chaldean system, the word decision adds up to a number 29, which equals 11, which is a number 2. So from my perspective, from a holistic numerovational perspective, I'm seeing multi-tier levels. I'm seeing 29, but actually I'm seeing 2, I'm seeing 9, I'm seeing 11, I'm seeing 2 again. Because 2 plus 9 equals 11, 1 plus 1 equals 2. So I'm seeing multiple levels of the word decision. I'm not talking about the individual letters connected to the individual numbers connected to each level, which each one of them means something. Each one is a different level of the word decision. But when you break down the key expression of the number in the Chaldean system, it adds up to a 29. In the Pythagorean system, is a 42. In my book, Numerovation for Mental Stability, I speak about the number 29, and I want to go directly there before I go and touch anybody else's material, showing you how to look at things from a holistic perspective and don't limit yourself with one aspect, not even with just my aspect, because I teach holistic numerovation. I teach holistic. Even all my courses and my classes is about holistic and how to apply these numbers for yourself. That's why if you're interested in getting this 3-hour webinar, and it's only $55, you can send a PayPal.me/King Simon or Cash App at $King Simon 3158, and you will get this in your email. Just make sure you add your email in the comment section of the after you make the payment, in the comment section of PayPal and Cash App, and then I will send the link directly to you so you can study for yourself, because to me it's about applying the numbers and using it for the benefit of the whole, yourself, your family, and whoever you want to deal with. But that was a recent webinar that I did, which is becoming very popular. And I'm not going to go up in price. I'm not going to gouge the price and all that. $55, 5 plus 5 equals 10. 10 equals a 1. I'm born on the 1st of February. Beautiful. I'm doing it just like that. I'm keeping it right there for the rest of his days. All right. So the word decision in the Chaldean system adds up to 29. In my book, Numerovation for Mental Stability, and it's very important because understanding the interpretations from a positive and a negative perspective help you to maintain a stable mind. That's why I wrote Numerovation for Mental Stability. But I emphasize the positive of each number, although you might go to Kiro in his infinite wisdom of numbers. Kiro might just give you straight, pure negativity when it deals with the 29. He says the number indicates uncertainty, decision, treachery, decision, deception, decision, foreshadows, trials, tribulations, and unexpected dangers, unreliable friends, and grief and deception caused by members of the opposite sex. It gives grave warning if it comes out in anything concerning the future. That is what Kiro says. Do I disagree? No, I do not disagree with it, because 29 over the years after studying patterns, cycles, and sequences has proven itself to be exactly what it has done with people born under the 29. Michael Jackson born under 29. Oprah Winfrey born under 29. What's his name? Chadwick Boseman born under 29. And when I said to Chadwick, he got to be careful of where he eats and who he eats from, and for people that might try to deceive him, he said to me straight up, "You ain't lying, King Simon." He said, "You ain't never lied." The exact words was, "You ain't never lied, King Simon." Because he's in Hollywood. And he's then becoming one of the biggest grossing superstars at that time. So I told him that in a brief sessions at the dojo. And then I told him about his stomach and his colon area and all that. And I got 2 witnesses to say that said it. Big up to Professor Bill and big up to Sensei Stephen, who was also there at that time because we had just finished. He just came in, we was talking to him. So 29 is that number on its negative of trials, treachery, uncertainty, deception. And if you are not careful with the decisions you make, then those trials, treachery, and deception will follow you when it comes to that number, when it comes to the word decision. Very interesting. But in my book, to keep the positive continuity of the number 29 before it gets to the 11, I said the number 29 is, from my study and my research, the number 29 is a symbol of compassion and completion of visions. But it also is known as a number of uncertainty, treachery, and deception, especially regards to relationships with others. This shouldn't scare anyone. This is what I'm saying in my book. This shouldn't scare anyone connected to the number 29. It is a reminder that those who are connected to this vibration or have to use this vibration have to learn to develop their pure intuition, then use it meaningfully to navigate in this realm to avoid unnecessary pitfalls. This is what I'm saying, where Kiro of old just gave you the straight negative and they gave you no chaser and didn't give you no positive to it. I have to give you the positive, because when 29 shows up in any word, in any letter, in any birthday, you have to be more purely in tune with what is going on in your surroundings. That means you got to be even doubly conscious of what's happening in your surroundings. That's why I told that to Chadwick Boseman at that time at the dojo in 2016. Then I go on to say about that number, master number, it adds up to it says the number 29 symbol shares a vibration of the master number 11. 2 plus 9 equals 11. Anyone connected to the 2911 are usually trusting of others, self-confidence, focused, and conscious of their surroundings. Again, we're talking about making clear decisions or making appropriate decisions. You have to be clear and be conscious of your surroundings, not just physically, but also spiritually. The name Muhammad, Muhammad, adds up to 29. Muhammad got poisoned. Let me say that again for the people in the back of the room. Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, got poisoned. That is the history or the herstory. Muhammad in the English spelling of the word Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad got poisoned. Treachery of other people. Deception from other people. And I believe he knew he was going to get poisoned. It could have been by and from somebody in the opposite sex, somebody that was feeding or cooking for him. Somebody, and sometimes in those times, your chef can get threatened. Their families can be getting threatened, and then they tell you to put that poison inside the food. I've seen it in martial arts movie, in Bruce Lee movie, one of the Bruce Lee movies. I thought it was either Enter the Dragon or Chinese Connection. Chinese Connection. The chef was threatened and paid off to poison the master. So these things happen in certain times of the past. Where if you're an esteemed master of something in the martial arts or a master of some type of religious organization, sometimes people get set up. That's why the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad had bodyguards and made sure he had selected people around him that cooked for him and handed him water. So did the Minister Louis Farrakhan. But Mr. Louis Farrakhan believed he was poisoned also. That's why he ended up with a certain amount of cancer and dealing with that and still survived it. Minister Farrakhan is born on the 11th of May. 2 plus 9 equals 11, and 11 in my book, I talk about Minister Farrakhan is born. Not good. The downloads are coming. The symbol of new beginnings, number 11, the symbol of new beginnings, and the ability to master wisdom and efficiency acquired during the past cycles of the 1 to 10. Master number 11, a doorway to spiritual and physical worlds. Keen insight, visionary ideals into the future. Then I go on to say about the master number 11 persons must be on guard, especially in relationships. I say, this is in my book. I said, however, the master number 11 person must be on guard, especially in relationships on the other end of the spectrum. The number 11 person is prone to treachery and deception from others. Prophet Muhammad, the name Muhammad adds up to 29, which is 11. He got poisoned. Minister Farrakhan, born on the 11th, felt he got poisoned. And watch out for, I want everybody to pay attention to what's happening with Terrence Howard going out against Hollywood. He's born March 11th. Chadwick, born on the 29th of November, was saying, he said to us in some words, he said, you ain't lied, King Simon. When I mentioned he had to be careful of people in his surroundings and people around him. My professor had a weird dream about him being too connected to Hollywood. I won't even mention what he said, but it was a weird dream before Chadwick passed on. And I knew they was connected. They was close. They was tight. That was his bodyguard. So the word decision, if not used appropriately, can lead to lead to treachery and deception from people around you, especially those of the opposite sex. So if you're a woman, you got to look out for men. If you're a man, you got to look out for women. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that the numbers don't lie, family. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. And they say he's to 63, not quite. Well, 63 is a number that adds up to 9. 9 deals with completion and endings. So if Prophet Muhammad lived to 63 after his poisoning, that deals with endings. 9 equals with endings and death and completion. When 9 cycle, 9 is also a health cycle also. But 9, after you've gone through with my chalk, the 9, when you deal with the number 9, after you go through all from 1, if you go through 1, if all the major health numbers are 2, 4, 6, 8, and 9, by the time you go through all these cycles and you didn't take care of your health in any way or form, then there goes the completion. There goes the ending. There goes the death. There goes the death because you didn't take care of your health. That's number 9. That's why number 9 in the Chaldean system was not mentioned, but they acknowledged it every time it showed up, because when 9 shows up, it's either going to bring about destruction and death, or it's going to bring about higher levels of love and understanding and creativity. That's the 9. So if you say Prophet Muhammad, I can't even remember if Prophet Muhammad died at 63. 6 and 3 equals 9. So I already see that was a completion, but his name Muhammad add up to 29, which deals with deception and all that on the negative. You got to be in tune. And he was a very intuitive being, according to Hadith and all that. Very intuitive. The name Jesus, and I showed this on Sarnetta's show, the name Jesus adds up to the number 11. And we know what happened to Jesus. We know what Judas did to Jesus. In the Arabic, the way they spell it in English, ISA adds up to the master number 11. I can't make this ish up, but every time the name Jesus in Arabic, Isa, adds up to a master number 11, the way they spell it in certain Quranic translation. Again, 11, deception shows up. I can't make this stuff up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but not sorry. Because we all like to say numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. Okay, if numbers don't lie, how come you feel that your number's connected to you and your birthday and your name is lying to you? It don't lie. It doesn't lie. All right, if we're 52 minutes in, let me break down the word miracle real quick. Break down the word miracle real quick. Big up to IG. They tuning in, locked in. Thank y'all very much. Please share, like, subscribe, because the topic is, getting back to the topic, I'm just make a decision and numerovational miracles will happen. Yesterday, I had a very interesting conversation with my father. And his wife, interesting enough, I've known her to be born on February 18th. And some say, and then there's another thing that says she's born February 19th. She's right there about the cusp. And I'm only doing this because this was a decision that I had to make. And as soon as I made that decision, right before I went to bed, money was sent to my Cash App. Not from my father, not from his wife, because I called her on it. She ain't answered the phone. Talked to my father, broke it all down. And so she had the nerve to say, she don't want me at their house to come and visit my 80-year-old father because I practice witchcraft. They're super Christians. And I've told y'all before that my father came to me and did a session with me to save his marriage. And they're still together. This session was done. And unbeknownst to her, And I forgot even what I said in the session, but I know I was showing him that sometimes he has to maintain the peace, and I think his alignment number is his life path is a number 6, and 6 is there to maintain that peace, which is a balance. And he has to maintain a certain peace when it comes to, and that's what he does. He'll shut it down and say, you know what? Don't worry about it. Just call me. Just FaceTime me. If you come to town, just stay at a hotel and I'll come and visit you. It's exactly what he said to me. So I can't visit my father because of his wife, thinking that I practice witchcraft. And I said, Dad, you know you did that to my son when he had crystals and stones. The same thing. He didn't do it, but she did it. Oh, he's practicing witchcraft and all that. And then my son called me. My oldest son called me and said, yo, they trying to do this. And my son is very, he's very loving person. My son, anybody know my son, Prince Imagine, very loving child, very loving brother. He'll do and work and help you and take the shirt off his back to help you out in events and all that. That's my son. So I remember some years ago, the whole family gathered up except my father. My father is a researcher. He born under the 25th. He born the same day as Will Smith and T.I. Very deep into his mind, his own head. So my son texts me talking about this witchcraft thing, about him speaking other languages and acknowledging the crystals and stone. I guess he was talking to a stone and all that, and trying to activate his stones and all that kind of stuff, because when you breathe on something, remember, that's the breath the Creator gave you. That's the holy breath. God breathed of himself into you. The Creator breathed himself into you, and you became a living soul. So when you breathe and blow on crystals and stone, then you could help activate it a little from that person. You could put it in the sun, you could put it in the moonlight, all that good stuff. All right. Probably that's what he was doing. And she noticed it, and the rest of my other brothers and sisters noticed it, the youngest ones out of my father's state. So my son calls me and say, yo, these people are talking about I'm practicing witchcraft and all blah, 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 blah. So I know the scriptures. And and instead of me looking through it, I Google up all of the crystals and stone quotes in the Bible. Because if they're Bible babbling buffoons over there, or Bible thumping people, then they got to respect what I just said. And sure enough, I sent that text to my father and showed him all the quotes supporting crystals and stones, that even your heaven is made out of jasper and sapphire and all that kind of stuff. And they had to leave my son alone. But my son still held on to certain things. He won't even go back there too much. He won't even go and visit them because of the wife and how he was treated by the wife and his niece and nephew, which is my father's children. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, well, his not niece and nephew, it would be his uncles and aunt, his uncle and aunt, where he was treated by his uncle and aunt, which is my father's children. So yesterday, she couldn't even tell my father what I did. That was quote unquote witchcraft. She couldn't even tell my father what I did. So people's perception of what witchcraft is, and they're all different perspectives. And I got it. Now I respect that. If that's what she feels, I won't ever come and visit him. I will just call him and check on him like I've been doing. So it's very important. So the decision I had to make is say, you know what? I was heading down to Florida to go link up with one of my dojo nephews and his family and Billy Carson and everybody out there, McCabe and everybody out there that I know, Dina and the whole crew, and Billy and his wife, and go hang out for the New Year's. And I'm going down there still. But the decision that I said, I'm not going to stop down in Tampa. I'm not going to visit my father. And I was going to visit another friend in Tampa who I'm connected to out there on the social media world, another friend. But I said, you know what? I'm not going down there to visit. I'm going to keep that right there. And and it's funny that her name, my father's wife, and I hope they're looking at this. I hope them watch this blood clot broadcast. I got up this morning. I said, her name sounds like Jin. Her name sounds like Janati. And anybody who have ever read the Quran, who the jinn and the jinnati was, those were the evil being or the evil energy of the Quran. And her name so happens to sound similar, as the way my father says her name, it sounds similar to jinnati. Jinn, the root word, jinn. So I'm like, I woke up with that. I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going there. I'm not even doing that with them. I'm not even going to do that with them because so I had to make a decision. And as soon as I make that decision, Numerovational miracles that came, money was sent to my PayPal, my Cash App immediately after I made the decision. Right when I'm going to bed, because I'm still thinking it's in my head about my father and all that. All that's going on because I'm in my 4 personal years. I'm in my 4 personal month cycle right now. I'm in a 1 personal year because 2 + 1 + 2023 adds up to a 10 when you break it all down, which is a 1. This is the 12th month, and 1 + 12 = 13, which is 4. So I'm in a personal 4-month, which is a mental number. So I held some of that stuff in my head since yesterday. So I'm able to talk about it today because then I realized I had to catch myself and boom, knock it out of my head before I go to bed. And sure enough, that circulation of finance from that person that I do not know sent me some money to do a session with him. And sure enough, and then I said, you know what? I'm not going to visit my father. It's all good. I will FaceTime him or call him and check on him like I've been doing every week, every 2 weeks. He don't call and check on me. I call and check on him the majority of the time. I check on my mother and my father, both of them in their 80s, to make sure they all right. So the word miracle in the Pythagorean system, let me get on out of here, get ready to finish this off because I got an interview that I got to do at 3:03. And make sure y'all tune into that. Make sure y'all tune into that. That's happening today at 3:03 with award-winning producer, actress, storyteller Sharon Gorder. These are people sometimes that work behind the scenes. You don't even know who they are, but they're doing wonderful work. But the word miracle adds up to the number 34, which is a 7. Miracle on 34th Street? How ironic. The word miracle adds up to 34. And one of the biggest Christmas shows was called Miracle on 34th Street. I can't make this shucky ducky up. I can't make this shuck up. I can't make it up. Patterns, cycles, sequences. You think they're not studying. Walt Disney was an adamant proponent. He was an adamant proponent of astrology. Walt Disney. And most of these guys that's in Hollywood followed his way because Walt Disney was one of the most successful of them. And getting back now, check this out. Getting back to the wife now. The wife used to work for Chase Manhattan Bank, JP Morgan. She don't know, it's a secret. She don't know JP Morgan loved astrology. He said astrology doesn't make millionaires, they make billionaires. That's what he said. And his astrologer was Evangelina Adams. Shh, don't tell her though. And she used to work for that sorcerer and that witchcraft man. Don't tell her that. The word pharmacy comes from sorcery. So every time you walk into a pharmacy or a Rite's Aid, you walking into a place of sorcery. Oh, too extreme with your madness. Christianity and Islam and Hebrew, too extreme. And like the late great Dick Gregory says, he said his cousin was a Muslim. And he said, oh, I don't do those holidays. He said, if you can't get to your bank when a bank is closed during their holidays, you celebrating their holidays. You celebrating their holidays. I don't care if you're Muslim, Islam, Jews got a whole connection where they can walk under the bank and go go into their, especially over there in Eastern Parkway, and go right into their bank account and go do what they got to do and go right. And because they don't acknowledge, their banks don't really acknowledge other Christian holidays and all that. They acknowledge their own holiday. And once a bank is closed during those times and you can't get your money or can't do certain deposit or do it, then you following that holiday. You are acknowledged. That's what Dick Gregory said back in the day. So the word miracle adds up to 34 in the Pythagorean, adds up to a number 19 in the Chaldean. 34 deals with the 3 and the 4 are numbers of expression, numbers of expansion, numbers of communication. So in your decision making, and once your decision making is made at its highest and wisest and most balanced state, dealing with the 11 master number portal and the number 6 that deals with balance and harmony, then the miracles can start to reveal themselves, because the number 3 and 4 are the numbers of communication, not just physically, but also spiritually, how you communicate, because it adds up to a 7, and 7 is one of the numbers of revelation, like the 7, 11. 11 is also the number of revelation, things being revealed. Once decisions are made, then the miracle will show forth itself. Once the decisions on its highest and wisest level is done in its most profound level. That's why I told y'all to get the book, The Power of Decision, written by Charles Raymond Barker, a reverend at that. A reverend that the late, great Reverend Ike acknowledges and shouted that book out, The Power of Decision. So the word miracle adds up to a number 7. It adds up to a number 19, which is a 10. 19 is the number of the sun in tarot, as I've said before. And as most tarot readers will tell you, sun is here to shine light. So once proper decisions are made, then the light of the miracle will shine itself and show forth itself to a higher degree. It adds up to a number 10, the wheel of fortune. So the word miracle is also the wheel of fortune. It's the wheel of fortune, and there's miracles that has happened in the good world and the bad world. Let me say that again, because we know the number 10 can deal with good or evil. It deals with extremities of both. But the number 19 deals with whatever you start, you got to finish it. So every one of us in our correct decision making will manifest miracles. How many of you, because you made certain decisions, you landed that job, you landed that account, you landed that relationship because you made certain decisions? And some of the decisions you're supposed to learn from. Some of the decisions you are supposed to learn from. Because every lesson or every decision you make that can be a lesson will turn into a blessing that could be a miracle in your life. Some of you brothers and sisters didn't want the child that you had. But then that child turned out to be a miracle in your life after you started realizing that this child it didn't ask to come here, but it's becoming a blessing. It's becoming a high-leveled, great decision that you finally realized that you made and decided to keep. Believe me, I went through it. I have 9 children. And was I the best of father? I tell people all the time I wasn't the best of the father because I was chasing entertainment and punani and all that type of stuff. And me chasing punani, I have 9 children now that I love dearly. Some I was a part of their life, some I wasn't at that much part of their life. But I can't say I don't love them. Some I wanted to, I was in agreement with the abortion, and some I wasn't. I'm really honest about that. I got nothing to hide when it comes to that. Some I made decisions to keep, and some I didn't want to keep, but they turned out to be great people, great human beings. And I talk to them and tell them, especially when they ask me the question, I got to tell them the truth. You got to tell those babies the truth and make them have a decision whether they're going to talk to you or not talk to you. Because like my own parents said years ago, and my mother didn't want to have a child. I was the first from my mother's womb. And my mother did not want, because her family taught her that you come into America to make good of yourself and make something out of yourself. You know, go to America for make baby. People don't think I remember these stories. And I had to tell my father this yesterday. I said, Pops, I remember everything. And they're coming up in dreams. They're coming up in thoughts. I remember everything. I remember when my mother kicked you out and we were looking out the window, she holding on to me and holding on to my child, my sister on the third floor, and my mother wouldn't let your ass back in. Women keeping their children away from their father. And I know it because of his club life and all the bull crap. I know what that was. But then there was other women, his second wife, try to keep us away from our father. And then this third wife is trying to keep us away from our father by their own little control issues. Other women trying to keep us away from our father. Decisions. But I turned out to be a miracle. And I'm helping people all over the world with using the studies of numbers, which is like the book of Numbers, which deals with patterns, cycles, and sequences. And anybody that called me and do a session, I tell them this is not psychic. This is not fortune telling. It may seem that way because we pay attention to the cycles, sequences, and patterns of numbers, and it reveals the patterns, cycles, and sequences that you go through like a GPS, but it is not psychic. Stop playing with your miracle and make the decision. In closing, make the decision, and the numerovational miracles will happen. It's all in the mathematics. And I just bought this book from The Symbols of Numerology by Julia Seaton. Now, this is a very powerful book. This is a very powerful book. Forgive me, I shedded a little tear because of that rant. I had to wipe off my eyes. I bought this book for $100. $100 to let you know the extent that I would go to study. This is the one that I posted on this is the person that I posted on my blog, kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. Those who want to follow me on my blog, kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. Let me see if I have it up here so I can share it with y'all. kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. You can go to my Linktree. I'm sorry. Go to my Linktree. You'll find kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. I shared a blog about this woman who apparently has the similar name to another doctor. She's a physician that happened to be the founder of or coining the name numerology. And she studied with this woman. Now, this book is written in 19. Let me make sure. This book is written in 1908. This book is written in 1908 by Miss L. Dow Ballot. This woman is a student of Miss L. Dow Ballot and became a numerologist immediately. But there is conflicting stories about her being the one that coined the word numerology back in 1907. 1907. And then there's another name, Julian Staton. Y'all heard me mention his name, but I've only seen but 2 different accounts. He didn't write any book about numerology, none of that. I only see Julia Seton. Now, Julian Staton and Julia Seton sound similar. So in the fray of things, because of the time period that this stuff was, they didn't want to give everything to women. They didn't want, of course, the Europeans was very chauvinistic. White male Europeans and their patriarchy are very chauvinistic. So instead of acknowledging Julia Seton, the name could be, I'm not sure, was changed to Dr. because her name, she's an MD, she's a physician, Dr. Julia Seton, a woman. I think the name over the years, my spirit keep on saying, I'm not seeing enough information on this guy, Dr. Julian Staton. And I shouted him out that he was the one that coined the word numerology, numerology. But both of them are doctors. Supposedly both of them were physicians. And this one has a book on numerology. Julian. We know the feminine word for Julian is Julia. And Seton, his name was Staton. Seton, Staton. I'm weighing it, but I'm seeing more information on her. And this was done by her daughter after she passed. This book was put out by her daughter, a PhD, Juno Jordan. She put out this book after her daughter, after her mother passed in 1984. $100. Because I'm studying, I'm researching, I gotta dig deep. All my names is from Simon and all that, and Anthony and Tyrone, all of that adds up to a number 7. So 7 has to dig deep in order to bring the miracle out, because miracle adds up to the number 7 also. The revelations has to come. So I'm always studying. My glass is always half full. I'm always studying. Very important. So I'm still looking, but Dr. Julia Seton could be the one, the woman that came up with the word numerology, and they did not want to acknowledge the woman of that time, so they changed the name to Dr. Julian Staton. Because when you look up Julian Staton, I don't care how many times you Google up, he never wrote a book. All it says in 2 or 3 different locations is that he was the one that came up with the word. But there's no other connections to him. I'm still looking. You don't have to take my word on it. I'm just still looking. I'm still studying. But it's so ironic that they connected Julian Staton to her also. But yet this one wrote a numerology book. Her daughter verifies that. So on that note, family, let me get on out of here, because like I said, I got an interview at 3:03. I hope y'all enjoyed what I presented today. I hope y'all respect what I presented today. If you respect what I did on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, put the number 1 in the chat. I know I covered a lot of stuff about my own family, my own personal stuff with my father and his wife that sound like the name Jen. I keep my distance from those type of people that tries to keep their parents away, keep their children away from their parents. I love my father. No matter if he was in and out of my life, I love my father. We got over the hump to be able to talk to each other every week or every other week. I talk to both of my mother and my father. You know what I'm saying? And I want you to reach out to your own father or your own mother and forgive them, let them go. And sometimes there's other people around them that's like that. And then I talked to my other sister that was from another wife, another marriage, and something between her and that wife that my father have now, there's something there, because she also is saying something mad about her, because she knew her a little bit closer. I didn't know her that closely. So it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I'm very, very happy that I'm still able to speak to my father to this day, and my mother And I called my mother and told her, you know what that woman said? She said, I'm practicing witchcraft. My mother said, she practicing witchcraft. My mother ain't no joke. she practicing witchcraft. And if I told you the story of her being and lingering around my father since my father was married to my mother, and then his other wife and all these other, you'll say, oh, but it's my father's fault. It's my father's fault. He was a womanizer. It is what it is. So he probably was having sex with his hairdresser and all that kind. And when I say hairdresser, because he used to have his hair done up like James Brown too. He had his hair braided, and ironically, she was the wife that he's with now was the one that was doing his hair, quote unquote. Whatever else they was doing, that's their business. I ain't afraid to talk because it's gonna be in my book. My autobiography. Got to put it in my autobiography. All this. That's why I like to record this. I'm not afraid to talk this stuff. I'm not afraid to talk this my sass. And let me look on my schedule because I have only 18 slots left in the month of December. So if you want to book a session, I only have 18 slots left in the month of December. You text me right now. I only got 18 slots left until December 29th. I only got 18 slots left in the month of December. So if you want to book a serious session with me, a serious numerovational session and consultation with me, please text me your full name and date of birth to this number on the screen. If you live outside of the United States, text me via WhatsApp or Signal. Put the 1 or +1 in front of it, whatever you got to do if you're in England or whatever. But I'm a serious. I grow every day. So those that did sessions with me years ago, I am totally different today than I was because my glass is always half full and I'm always a student learning and thriving to be a master of what I do. And it probably won't happen until I get into the other realms of existence. But I'm all right with that. I'm all right with that. So I have 18 slots left. If you want to book a session with me, text me right now. 18 slots left in this month of December before we get into the new year. If you want to know what's going on for the new year connected to your name and your birthday, I can help you out. But remember, it's not psychic. It's revealing patterns, cycles, and sequences to give you guidance. Very, very important. Big up to Akibalam 44. How you doing, my brother? I hope everything is well with you and the family. Extraordinary brother, as usual. I got to interview you one day on my YouTube channel. And, we got to set that up. I think Carrie Ann reached out to you, my brother. Carrie Ann is my partner on Wednesday. I think she reached out to you. So we're going to see. We haven't decided what we're going to book up for January yet. Right now, we're going to probably take a little step back for January. But definitely got to have Akibalan 444 from his Akibalan 444 from his perspective and how he drops his mathematics, because I really respect and honor what he does and how he doing. Again, 18 slots left, family. 18 slots left. If you want to get any of my books, go to Linktr.ee/King Simon the Numerovator. That's Linktr.ee/King Simon the Numerovator. All of my books are connected to numbers some way, but numbers are simple. People are complicated. Numbers are simple. Children's health is important. And Numerovation for Mental Stability are primary books for numerology and numerovation or numerologics. If you do want to advertise on my show, these are the emails that you can contact us. If you want to advertise with us, Kerry@kerryanningram.com or KSPTVmedia@gmail. Of course, I'm going to tell you to support one of my Babas, one of my elders, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. Hit him up. Join his class. Do whatever you got to do. Learn from all perspectives. KerryanIngram.com. Hit her up. Linktree/KerryanIngram. If you do want to learn how to apply it from yourself, it does require you applying it constantly in order for you to become proficient. You can take this basic course, this basic webinar, $55, 3 hours. Put your email when you pay. Put the email in the Cash App description or the PayPal comment section, and I will send you your
link, and that link will be yours for the rest of your life. Do remember this afternoon at 3:03, I'm interviewing Sharon Gordon. Please tune in. It's going to be beautiful. If you want to find out how to be an award-winning producer, actress, storyteller, audiobook narrator, acclaimed journalist, publicist, promoter, and community leader, and do it all in one so you can make multiple streams of income, Sharon Gordon is going to drop it for you. And then that night, this evening at 8:08 p.m., author, speaker, music historian, and recipient of the Jamaican Order of Distinction, Copeland Forbes, author of Reggae My Life Is, will be on with us. And this brother here, practicing Muslim, from skeptic to believer, a journey in discovering the transformational or transformative power of astrology. Our brother Samuel F. Reynolds, those who know Sam, you know he's a good dude. And he used to have the Mystic Lounge back in Brooklyn back in the day. I was part of those wonder workers. Enough respect to them. And if you're in Brooklyn, call Nicholas Brooklyn, 718-858-4400. Wayne Chandler is going to be there. Guest speakers will be Kaba Kamene, Adinka Butler, the author of The Homie in Modern Dahomey. Also, Unc Rising Sun will be there. And Sister Kafunya will be there. Happy birthday to Nicholas. Her birthday was yesterday. Monique's birthday was yesterday. Today happens to be a dear friend of mine, Kesia L. Jones. Today is her birthday. And also Raven Simone. Today's her birthday, if you care about that. Also, Dr. Phil Valentine will be with me. Private link only. Private link only on my Patreon. But I'm going to be putting up the private link in the community section. Private link only, if you want to see it. Origin of the deep state. It's going to be different. I might even have people come on and ask them some more questions about it privately on my Patreon channel. And if you don't know what my Patreon channel is, family, here's my Patreon. I'm uploading a lot of stuff to the Patreon because they're trying to take down a lot of different content. Like I said, they took down a few Phil Valentines, a few Curtis Cause. They might try to take down Ma. So I had to, because anything dealing with the medical world, they're trying to take down, or anything they feel from the European perspective, it's false or pseudo. They're trying to take it down off of our channels. So please go to my Patreon. It's right there on the page, patreon.com/ It's only $5.55 a month, or to $10 per month. That's it. I'm not going any higher. There's no other tier system. $5.55 to $10 a month. That's it. And I'll be uploading some content, bonus content, and exclusive content. Please go to the Patreon page. We'll have this beautiful sister coming in, Kajara Nebhet. Her name is Raket Kajara Nebhet, and discovering the healing powers of Kemetic Reiki and learn how to use it for self-healing. And of course, this is the webinar that Phil Valentine will be doing on January 14th. I'll probably be in Florida at that time, but January 14th, that's the Phil Valentine workshop that's happening, webinar. And I already promoted that. And remember, Tuesday, y'all want to call in and donate at the same time. We're going to talk to y'all directly. And the call-in number is 718-210-8853. That's the call-in number. Do not call me right now, please. That phone is off right now. I turned it off. But I want to thank each and every one of y'all for being a part of this journey, being a part of my growing journey while talking to you as my audience, talking about my father, my family, my children. Hey, look, there's a side to every story. So respect to their side, respect to his wife's side, respect to my children's side. I have my story. That's what I'm sticking with. That's what I'm going with all the way out until I transition from this realm. So family, have a great day, afternoon, or evening. Be safe, be strong, be focused. And remember, you have been watching King Simon Presents Only Quality People on YouTube, and the Numerovation Nation on YouTube and on Facebook, and at my private Facebook page, the Ministry of Numerovation, and on Twitter at King Simon Prod, and at Facebook at King Simon Production and King Simon. And remember, make a decision and numerovational miracles will happen. Take care of yourself. I love you, and be safe. Peace. Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed.
Hey, this is King Simon. Remember, make sure you go to my website, kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com or Linktree at King Simon the Numerovator. Get all 4 of my books, and of course, that's the Numerovation for Mental Stability. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Number are simple, children's health is important, and no promotion is bad promotion. Just spell my name right. Make sure you get them now on all my links. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. Go now. Hey, this is King Simon, the International Numerovator. Remember, get all my books on Amazon or go to Linktree/King Simon the Numerovator. And remember, don't forget to book my sessions at 347-496-1022. Book now.
Tell you little something more white history. Say how they condemn us throughout slavery. They say we were black and very ugly. I lie them are telling of them history. Cause black is beautiful, the whole of them agree. Them come out of the mountains and mix up with sea. Here we go, my friends, in the black and white history. Yeah, it's black, black, black. It's white, white, white. But let me tell the story. Yes, it's black, black, it's white, white, but let we tell the story. May I go tell you a little truth about the black histories to the people who can hear and those who can see. We're the first to come up with anatomy, to analyze the truth about we body. We're the first to come up with biology, to analyze the lives in the society. We're the first to come up with Egyptology, to construct the pyramids that you see. We're the first to come up with psychology, to analyze the minds in the vicinity. We're the first to come up with musicology, to put the rhythm in your soul and make it rock steady. Correction, my friends, with the black and white history. Yeah, it's black, 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 it's white, 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 but let me tell the story. Yes, it's black, 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 it's white, 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 but let me tell the story. Black and white story in my mind. Oh yeah, say we have to analyze it. Black and white story in my mind, in my mind, in my mind. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Black and white story in my mind. Oh yeah, say we have to analyze it. May I go tell you a little something about white history. Say how they condemn us throughout slavery. They say we were black and very ugly. I lie them, I tell enough of them history. Cause black is beautiful, the whole of them agree. They come out of the mountains and mix up with sea. Here we go, my friends, in the black and white history. Yeah, it's black, 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 it's white, 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 but let we tell the story. Yes, it's black, 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 it's white, white, but let we tell the story. May I I will tell you a little truth about the black history. It's for the people who can hear and those who can see. We're the first to come up with anatomy, to analyze the truth about the way body. We're the first to come up with biology, to analyze the life in our society. We're the first to come up with Egyptology, to construct the pyramids that you see. We're the first to come up with psychology, to analyze the minds in that vicinity. We're the first to come up with musicology, to put the rhythm in your soul and make it rock steady. Correction, my friends, in the black and white history. Yeah, it's black, 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 it's white, white, but let we tell the story. Yes, it's black, 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 it's white, 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 but let we tell the story.